Hello, everyone, and welcome to the UBports Community Update, Episode 12, streamed live on August 16th, 2017. My name is Dalton. Joining me this week are Jan.
Hello.
Florian.
Hi.
And Marius, in a totally legal display of using his phone.
Hello. Well, it's legal. I don't have it in my hand, so.
We've got a great roundup of news, including our trip to UbuCon Europe, OTA 2 stuff, as usual, and a bunch of questions from the community. So, before we can really get started, though, we do need to thank our sponsors and Patreons. Patrons? What is the correct word for that?
Patrons. If you believe Patreon, it's patrons.
Patrons.
Patrons. We have 200 patrons for a total of $1,933 per month right now.
Woo!
That's pretty good.
And we are very close to our goal of getting the really big, beefy ARM64 server that will build all of our stuff for us in record time, which means faster deployments to all of you, package-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And we also need to thank our sponsors, DigitalOcean, Smooze, and Private Internet Access. Sorry about that. Had to find the words. If you'd like to know about any of their services, they are on our sponsors page if you go to UBports.com and then scroll down to the sponsors link. Okay, there we go. Got that out of the way, everyone. Have we posted everything? We have. Awesome. I'll just put those links in the right places. Where's that other group? There it is.
Jan has already done your job, I'm afraid.
In one of them, yeah.
Okay.
And I just noticed you can pin messages on Telegram web.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
There we are.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So hello, everyone who's coming in right now. I do see you. Marius, please don't switch cameras. That's crazy. All right. Okay, we're just giving a little bit of time here. YouTube is doing some weird things today. It was down until 1 minute before 1 o'clock, which would be 12:59. I had caffeine today. That's my problem. Okay. So everyone says, yep. Everyone says it's working all right. We are good to go.
Perfect.
Let's begin with our OTA 2 news. All right.
Yeah, so if you recall, last week we said we wanted to publish OTA 2 within a week. That didn't happen. And the reason why that didn't happen is going to be our next news item, actually. So we were at UbuCon Europe in Paris with a big delegation, and so we didn't have that much time to actually do some work. Well, and another problem was a technical problem that our overlay PPA that we built from ran out of space when we were upgrading our browser. So
we had to ask Canonical for more space, which they did give to us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, thank you, Canonical. Yeah, so let's recap the list of new features and fixes in OTA 2. So we have a new browser, which works a lot better and faster than the old one. It's based on, I think, not the latest version of Chromium, but one of the later ones.
Based on Chromium 57. The plan was to use 58, but it had some big rendering issues.
Okay, cool. So it's based on Chromium 57, and it works, yeah, a lot faster, especially because Google has made some improvements for ARM in that. Else than that, we have added flashlight activation switch under the battery indicator. We will now display change logs for OTA upgrades. Only on the stable channel because we have to write them manually, but they will be there. So if you're only sitting on stable, you will always get a nice message and with a list of new features. We changed the spinner, so the loading animation when the phone is starting, and you can now switch the channels from the settings. Should I also go over the bug fixes we have?
If you want.
Okay, we have made some improvements to GPS. For example, we fixed it for the Nexus 5, and we fixed some permission issues when the apps were coming back from the background. We changed some links in the system, for example, under the system indicator, I think, that pointed to partly no longer active canonical sites. We fixed an issue where the browser crashed on convergence. So when you connected it to a display, the browser and web apps didn't work. We fixed the Nexus 5 battery bug that it always displayed that the battery was about to be empty. And we fixed some camera permission issues. I think that's about it.
The messaging LED works now on N5. I think it was not blinking before, right?
Right, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So that various fixes for Nexus 5 actually. So that should be a little smoother. Actually, I think the Nexus 5 is now our most used device. If I go to stats.ubuports.com.
I think it's the BQ 4.5 that's the most actually. But...
No, actually the Nexus 5 is in the lead now. So it's 23% actually.
Did you mention channel switching?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to be OTA 2. We will have it out there pretty soon. Let's not make a concrete promise right now, but as soon as it's public, you will of course get an update, and we will have a final RC image probably tomorrow. And then
not the final, but I will promote one when I'm home. You see, I'm a busy man, so I will not promote it while I'm in the car. But I will, as soon as I'm home, I will promote the latest Devil 2 RC, so we can test the latest stuff and to get a proper QA testing going. I'm not sure if that will be the final. It depends on how the QA testing goes. If the QA testing comes back positive, it is the final. If it comes back with a lot of bugs, it probably will be one other.
Yeah, so we have a list of steps QA testers can go through, and that will be published, I think, either tonight or tomorrow, and then you can go through it. If you want to help us, you can go through the list and perform all the steps that are listed there, and then email us your results so we can see, okay, something is breaking on the devices that was working before, or it's improved or whatever.
Thank you for that update on the update, Jan. Is there anything else anyone wants to add about OTA 2? Okay. Let's move. Flo unmuted.
No, I'm just blinking.
Okay. Up next, we have another news item, one of our most exciting events that we've been to yet, I believe. Well, I mean, MWC was probably... I don't know. Last week, we were in UbuCon. I'm going to take a deep breath on this one. We are in Paris for UbuCon Europe.
That's right. So you weren't, Dalton.
No, I wasn't. That's I don't know what the we was. Sorry. I'll be quiet now.
Yeah. So Marius was there. I was there, and some people from our marketing department were there. For example, Frank and Mohannes. If you know them from the Telegram group and from the blog, probably they are very active there. And also Ewald, one of our board members as well, and some other people, namely, oh god, I'm gonna forget someone. Stefano was there, so we talked to him a lot and was great fun. Who else? Oh my god, I'm so bad with names. Marcus Costales was there, yeah.
And then we had Alan Pope, Mark and Wimpress. A lot of familiar faces there. We also had a lot from the French community, CMT, CM-T actually. So yeah, there's a lot of familiar faces. I also don't remember everyone. There's so many.
Yeah, so let's stop the list at this point. There were a lot of people. If I forgot your name and you talked to me, I'm really sorry. But I enjoyed talking to all of you. It was great fun. We even had some people flash their devices at our booth that were running Android before or were still running the canonical version. So yeah, that was great fun and a very successful event.
Yeah, to be honest, I think the event went really well. We had a lot of visitors, as Jan says. Many people come along to, at least people loved our Yumi stickers. I saw stickers everywhere. Yumi was popular at so many places. So to be honest, I think it went really, really well. The event was really cool. Yeah, you can see the Yumi stickers. And we also got to talk with one of our core app developers like Marcus Costales about UNAP and also Stefano about Open Store, and we also had a talk, and he had a talk.
Miguel was there. He's the author of the app development guide, and also the developer of the web app creator was there.
Yeah.
Or one of the developers actually. Yeah, it was really, really cool to meet some of the people in person.
And what else did you guys do while you were there? You talked. We
talked a lot.
We got a lot of hugs. We got stickers to everyone. We used the UBports installer to install on new Android devices, and we in general had a good conversation with many of them. There was so much happening in such a short amount of time. We had a social event where we was at the bar having a social event with everyone on the night, and then in the daytime we were all at the UbuCon place where we was looking at talk. We had some Snapcraft talks with Alan. So yeah, in general, it was quite fun. I was expecting more people than it actually was there, but I think it was fine. It was quite fun to meet people in real life and actually touch them in a way instead of just touching.
Phrasing.
Let's come at this point before he starts.
Well, you know what I mean. It's different when you actually meet them in real life than actually seeing them over a PC screen.
Yeah. You need to be able to smell them, and then it's good.
Yeah, but also I think the other thing is that we was there to show off that we are alive. I think that was one of the main ideas that we actually bring, because we had the nicest stand, didn't we? Uh, we, we definitely was there to show off that we are alive, and I think people got that. And I was also quite surprised that there was so many people actually running canonical images still. That was also a waker to me to actually build the switching tool into the UBports installer. My phone is dying, so soon we'll lose you.
We heard it at least.
Yeah, the UBports installer was something that was very much liked at UbuCon. Something we didn't actually expect, because it has been in the state it's now for about half a year.
Yeah.
And only very minor changes have been made to it in the last couple of months. But yeah, people were really excited about it. So if you want to help us test it and bring it to stable, go to github.com/ubiports/installer. It's a new installation tool based on Electron that works on Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. We have some final kinks to iron out, and then I think we can publish it and make it the official way to install Ubuntu Touch.
I think the main thing we are struggling with, if anyone in the community knows about this, but it's about the Windows installer and how we can automate the installation of fast boot drivers and ADB drivers on Windows. I think that's our main issue. That the rest of it is fine. It works really well, and both Mac and Linux. We even had a Mac at our boot, just showing off that actually this runs platform. So there's just minor bugs on those two platforms, but our main focus would be to get the switching in, where you can switch from canonical images, and also second the drivers, which I would say is the hardest thing we will ever overcome, because first of all, I had no idea what Windows. I'm not a Windows type of guy.
I actually might have something for you on that. Talk to me after this with Windows.
Oh.
I think I've got an idea for you.
I think we lost him now. And now is finally the coverage, maybe, or his battery.
Or he crashed.
No, I don't think so.
It's Norway. People don't crash.
Yes, no. Norway is a perfect world. And nothing happens there. Okay, so when Marius is back, he's back. Cool.
Oh, he's back.
Didn't crash.
I muted him because there was some background noise. I'm sorry. Okay, he says he's okay. Didn't crash. We're fine. Okay, that's what we have for news this week. Does anyone else want to bring anything up?
We can probably announce, now that we talked about UbuCon, that we are also going to be at the UbuCon Germany.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Maybe you want to cover that, Flo?
Yeah, sure. So the UbuCon Germany is a much smaller event than the UbuCon Paris, so to say. I don't know what is going to happen there, how many people will be there, but I don't expect that that will be that busy. The team will be much smaller, so it's primarily me, then maybe or maybe not Jan. He didn't know up to now, right?
Yeah.
And let's see who else we can motivate. But at least there will be one talk by me, which is a great chance to introduce this to the German community, because I think that this is nothing, let's say, not only because I speak German, it's easier to bring the information there, but also maybe more people go to Wolfsburg than just make the effort to go to Paris or to another country. So it's really nice if you can have an event that is more local to the people. And also we have a lot of users that are interested in Germany. There seems to be historical, maybe more interest for Linux in Europe than in other countries, or I don't know. But in my feeling, it's a great chance to present what we are doing. So I will be there. If anybody wants to shake hands, of course, please come and step forward. I don't know yet if the talk will be on Saturday or on Sunday. I didn't receive the final schedule. And we will have a much smaller, let's say, corner, or even only just a small table where we also can lay out a few information material. And I will try to show one or two phones to the people, and let's say make the same thing on UbuCon, get some interest and get motivation, but in a much smaller scale, of course. But it will be really fun, I think. So yes, hopefully some local people can meet me there. Local means now people not too far away from Wolfsburg. Maybe Dalton is too far away. I'm afraid. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit too much of a hike for me.
Yeah. And I think this concludes the possibilities for public appearance for this year. We didn't make any plans what will happen next year, but for sure we will try to participate on some events again. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Yes, for next year, I definitely hope for going to next year's UBCon at least, but also maybe MWC would be a good thing for us if it's not too expensive.
You're using the wrong camera again, Marius.
I know, I'm just showing off the fjords of Norway.
Oh.
I'm amazed how bright it's still outside there,
Mm-hmm.
because it's completely dark here already.
It's darker here. Well, it's not completely dark, but it is darker here than it is there.
Right, yeah, it's pretty light here. The sun doesn't go down until 10 at least.
So MWC is, of course, the big thing, maybe the biggest thing that we could participate in. I don't know if we'll have the possibility. Probably some people would love to go there again, right? I never was there. Maybe I would also love to see it. Let's see how this develops. I can imagine that maybe we can come under the hood with some company that could give us some small space there that we can present the things. Let's see. We're also talking a little bit with some companies now. I don't want to go into much details, but probably we could somehow try to achieve this MWC 2018 goal. But let's see. No promises here.
That's the dream.
Yeah, we'll see. And there are also, of course, lots of other free software-oriented conferences that we would like to attend. We can't attend everything, unfortunately, but
yeah, we need to get some work done sometimes, I suppose. Unfortunate fact of life.
We'll keep you guys in the loop anyways.
As long as I have a laptop on a plane, I'm fine.
Okay. How about we do some questions, shall we?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So we take these questions from the YouTube live chat, our Telegram chats, as well as our forum at forums.ubports.com. First up this week, a question coming in from the forum. The Peter asks, where can I get news about our Holium implementation into UBports? And I guess, do you have any news too?
This is actually quite exciting because speaking about plane, this is something I did at the airport. I was playing around with Holium on Upstart, which is what we are using for Vivid, which is going to be an interesting thing to try out when OTA 2 is out, when I have more time to do other stuff. So I will actually try out. I got it working on the Nexus 5. Somewhat working, but most of the parts didn't work. But at least it booted and it had Wi-Fi and Bluetooth because they're kernel based. But when I got that working for real, I'll actually start publishing some experimental images on that. And also at the same time, I will publish some instruction and images or rootfs that's built for Holium on Vivid actually. But at the same time, we also have the Xenial base, which actually right now is working with Holium. Non-CUF devices. CUF devices don't support Emir yet, and also Android 7 doesn't support Emir yet. But actually, the images that we have out now for 1604 or for 1604 or Xenial is actually Holium based. So the work is coming along, and both Holium and UBports is is growing.
Let's see. Do we need to translate any of that into English?
Maybe just
Jan,
one remark about the CAF devices. This common Android framework
Code Aurora Forum.
is so basically for the newer devices or newer hardware, right? That was since published since when? Since 2 years or so?
Yeah, it's mostly things that would have kernel 3.18 or around 3.14, 3.18, which is new in Android land. I know it's EOL, but that's pretty new for Android. And there are a lot of changes in hardware implementations, in headers for C, if you know what those are, and a bunch of places like that. So it's a very different thing that we need to develop on.
Well, to be honest, it's Qualcomm's own modifications and optimization that will eventually probably land in Android open source project, but haven't landed yet. So it's also the thing that we are struggling with it because Mir is not built with those headers, which means they don't have API compatibility, which just points to null basically. So when it hits that, it just goes to null and segment fault and dies. So it's just to recompile them with the correct source, the correct headers, and it should basically just work.
Yeah. Basically, right now, Halium 1604, newer devices, everything seg faults. Everything.
Well, it depends on the developer.
Wow, thanks. Let's move on to the next question before I start to get roasted about whether or not I can port.
No, that's not the point. But the reason why it segment faults that easily is because Android is there's so much different stuff. There's so much different for each device. There's that, and that. So if it's segment fault, it's really, really hard to debug because you don't know where, because it just says null, and where is that null coming from? Who knows? So
I think we've I think we've gone over this one enough before. Android is hard.
Marius,
Android is hard, yes.
Marius, you might want to turn off your front camera and turn it back again.
Yeah, it is. I'm sure it's making some people motion sick.
Yeah, and if we have a crazy chainsaw murderer in the community, he will probably find you and get you.
Yeah, because now you can see me.
Oh yeah, so much better.
Oh man. Next question came in from the forum, from the Possessor. I didn't write this as a question, but basically he doesn't want to lose scopes because ones like Today and News are great. So he's asking what our plans are with aggregate scopes.
There are no plans. Yet. So if you love scopes, let us know. If you hate scopes, let us know as well. There are some thought experiments, and we will probably make this a broader discussion in the community soon. Maybe on the forums, maybe somewhere else. But scopes as they are probably not going to stay forever, but we will have something in place. If you say, okay, I love the aggregation features, we'll find a replacement for that because, yeah, basically nothing is known yet, nothing is sure, but your input is welcome.
Yeah, this topic goes also a bit up to the community because we are building this for you, so you decide. So that's the thing. We really want input. If people love scopes, we will love them too. If people hate scopes, we hate scopes too. Basically.
Basically.
Basic.
Okay, that's all that we really have.
A small remark. Yeah, a small remark
Okay.
for the upcoming OTA 2, because we will get the transparent background feature with that.
Right,
So
and that
people
does
can
break some
set,
scopes.
yes. So for the dash, for the normal start page where you have all the apps, you can set the semi-transparent background now with which will show your background picture. But then the first feedback was already from testers that this will break some scopes and influence maybe most of them, because the designers of the original scopes, they did not expect to have a transparent background. So the readability can be very poor depending on the background picture. So maybe the background picture is a nice to have, but if you also love scopes or you're using them very frequently, the experience will be not so nice, but it's completely configurable. You don't need to use this feature. Yeah? This is also one of the reasons why we have to think about the scopes, because they are not really fitting into the let's say design guidelines that we have. If we give too much freedom on the scopes, then you have a lot of rainbow colors there. But if we change something on the underlying design, we cannot guarantee that the experience and the look and feel will be good for all the scopes out there. So we really have to find something that we can say, okay, we are giving the framework, we're giving the shell, and inside the information, the developer can do what he wants, but here you can also follow maybe some idea of theming or skinning. So, but still it will look good if we change something or the user changes his colors and so on. Yeah? So I think the current system is just not flexible enough to allow themes and color changes or other fancy stuff.
Nothing is decided yet again, but these are all things that we're trying to take into account as we make our changes. Up next, we have a card that Flo created. It's questions, but the title is simply Stefano.
Yeah, let me open this. He asked actually 3 questions in one, so I couldn't give the card a distinctive name. So a question from Stefano. The first thing is if we're going to relax the app confinement in the future. So actually, all these 3 questions are also in the same direction. We didn't really decide about what we do with the app confinement. What we can see now from the developers' feedback is that they would like to have more freedom, of course. The developer always wants to have as much freedom as possible, that's clear. But it's really something that we should also discuss together with the development groups and people working on the apps. Like, for example, Deco has now a new update. Maybe I can lose another word or two after this. But in this version, Deco will have a background process checking for mails. So with the current app confinement, it's not really possible to do it in this way. So in the end, all these apps with more functionality, they have to be unconfined. They have a warning mark in the store. They need manual review. And the app confinement is one of the legacy items from Canonical where we probably have to start doing something, but maybe not too fast. We will not remove it immediately, because we have to define also the security, let's say, philosophy that we want to have in the phone. Is it really that the same like on Android or iPhone level, that everything is locked down and the apps can almost do nothing except what they really requested and what they have been approved for? Or are we saying, okay, we have some people that are using Linux on the desktop, they also have their normal freedom there. Maybe we can bring a little bit of this freedom also to the mobile phone, because it would allow to do things much more easily, and yeah, maybe it doesn't get insecure immediately. But also here, nothing is decided. And the same goes for the next item that he said, for the next 2 items, the changes to the UI design. Of course, proposals are welcome. I think we have already got great input for some of the core apps from the community that are starting to change a few things, like on the camera app, for example. On the clock app, we have some proposed changes, even merged already. So UI design for the apps, but also for the whole core, let's say, frame like Unity and so on. We can discuss it. Let's discuss this in an open way. It can be a forum entry on our forum to start the discussion. It can be some wiki page or some, I don't know, blog post somewhere that you kick off and present your ideas. Also, the rumors about the new home screen. Actually, Stefano started this rumor himself, I would say now, because he designed for us an alternative home screen, alternative dash, let's say. We should take a look into this. And of course, you are invited, Stefano, to give us all your input that you have. I know you have a lot of great ideas. We discussed already a little bit. But we need to streamline it and to get it into a wider discussion with the people in the community that are interested. And then we need a feedback, what goes and what doesn't. So I think these are the things besides maintaining and bug fixing and bringing the hardware forward and the porting, we also need to start working on the features. I think these questions are a reminder that we should get into these discussions now. Yeah? And we will try to do it, I think. Yeah? However, of course, the UBports team, let's say, is sometimes only here to kick off these things and is just motivating you as a community to give feedback and also to start working on this, because we cannot handle everything on our own. Yeah? So the idea is we are more or less like, let's say, amplification for ideas and incubating these ideas, let's say, like in a think tank. And we will not always execute them ourselves. And we will try to find people that are working together with us to bring this forward. So that's the vision for all these things, where we say now nothing is decided, because it's a community project. We want to have a wide discussion and a broad, solid understanding. Yeah. Okay, now I spoke too much again.
Yeah, but let's stress this call to action again. So if you are a developer who can help us implementing this, actually, or work with the current code base, or create something new, or adapt something that has been made by someone else.
Well, actually, there's a good remark from Bjarne now on the supergroup. We may create surveys. Yes, of course, the feedback from the community is best captured with some surveys, with questions where you can say yes, no, or give some ratings. But of course, before the surveys come, we have to still start to get all the options collected that we can put into the survey. Yeah? We are, let's say, neutral. We are not going to bias this or that idea. If it's not completely nonsense idea, then we will try to put it somewhere to the community for feedback.
Yeah, we won't force anything on the community. It depends on what you want to see and what can be done. So if you pitch a crazy idea and you're not a developer, and it's going to be a lot of work to implement for us, then it's probably not going to happen. But if you pitch a crazy idea and you say, I can do it, or I already did it,
it's more likely to get in.
Yeah,
basically.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is also, if you're not a really hardcore developer with QML and C++, but if you did some screen design, some nice mock-ups and so, we can all try to collect it. The only question that I would have is, or the only request, don't just write this to us in Telegram person to person in a private message, because it's really hard for us sometimes to capture the things from Telegram. It's a very, let's say, quick medium. So if you want to make it persistent, or you should make your idea persistent, either put it on our forum, that's also a great idea, or you have your own space somewhere where you can present it, and then Google will start indexing it also, and you can give some keywords there and so. And try to push your idea here and there, because sometimes if you're not reacting on the first place, we just may have overlooked it. But it's really hard with now over 700 people in the supergroup to get all the ideas into our notes. Yeah? So please help us make it persistent by doing it yourself, and not just posting it there and saying, okay, I have a nice idea, here it is. Because if it's the wrong time zone, then there are 300 messages later, we cannot read everything sometimes. Yeah? By the way, this is really 742 members on the supergroup. We increased again by a good amount of 20 or 30 people only in the last 10 days, I would say. So it's great. It's really great that we are increasing numbers, and actually nobody is leaving. I think everybody stays and is watching.
That's a supergroup thing.
Yeah, you can't see
it doesn't show you when people leave.
Damn. Okay. But anyway, 742, it's increasing number. Yeah? Okay, so that's for the call to action for the community. This we will also repeat now and then. We will put it maybe also in blog posts and so, to remind everybody, and also to get the message to the new people that are joining, we are really open to ideas. We are the community. We are users ourselves. So everybody has great ideas now and then. Please share it. Yeah.
Excellent.
And welcome, Marius. He's back in his usual place.
Yes, finally I'm home.
Mm-hmm. So we don't have any more questions from the forum, but we do have a few in our live chat. Where are we? We have a few questions about the Purism phone again. Now, we did mention this last week, and you can go back and read the blog post on our blog at UBports.com. Click on blog in the navigation bar. We have the last community update where we discussed the Librem phone. But the question this time is about what we think of the partnership with Purism and KDE.
I think that's cool.
It's good for Purism. It's good for KDE.
But I think, yeah, I think what people are wondering if we're discussing, I feel like this is something unreal. Is this something we will do? And if Purism asks us, yes.
I mean, if it, we said last week that we need to see the phone before we can say, yes, we can put software on that. And the phone doesn't exist right now.
Yeah.
So we're happy that KDE has partnered with them, and we'll probably get to see the phone sooner and get to develop on it. But this is where we are. It's kind of like asking us if we're going to port the Galaxy S9. It's like,
or S10.
Or the S10. Man, that S10, that's gonna be
everyone skips 9. Everyone skips 9 these days. Even Apple skipped 9.
Really? Maybe they come back with some version later. I don't know. I don't understand their marketing anyway. Let me come to one small detail here also. They said now, okay, they will have this iMX26 or MX6 baseband SoC. And I was looking a little bit into this. There are several variants of this baseband chipset. And for the really hardcore users, it's maybe important to know that also here it's not really decided finally if they will get the sources for all of that. So if we can really have everything, but even if not, they promise these hardware switches to switch off things. So okay, I can understand. It's good that I can switch off the baseband processor or the baseband SoC from the remaining phone. But now my question is, if I'm concerned about security and traceability, if I want to make a phone call with my phone because this is what I'm going to do, why else I would have it, then I have to switch on this part again, and I'm again in the situation that it might do some strange things. So to me, the whole question is, if I'm concerned about the traceability with the GSM, UMTS network or whatsoever, then I shouldn't use a phone at all. It's just my personal opinion. But I think still I don't understand really the complete use case of this phone, despite the fact that I can switch on or off the radios sometimes.
Right.
But
that doesn't mean that it won't happen and that it's not a good idea for some people. It's just, we're waiting until we see it.
I think the concerns are really that, let's say, people want to be sure nobody's listening and tapping them, but then I have to change also a little bit my lifestyle. I think this phone will not be a usual phone like we use it now. Let's call it more or less like a kind of secure communicator that can use Wi-Fi's, but eventually, if necessary, it can also switch on its normal telephone. But I'm still not sure that this is what the people want to have. But okay, just a personal opinion there. And anyway, the second thing is if they have development ports out by middle of next year, then maybe we can think of getting some in our hands. But before, I think we will not further talk about this or have an opinion because we cannot. We need to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's like building eyes to a blind man. Like it can't be done because we haven't seen it.
That sounds like a Norwegian saying.
It didn't translate well at all.
No, that didn't translate at all because there's not. No, how was it? Oh, never mind. Just forget the last thing I said there. There was nothing important.
That didn't happen. Everyone's YouTube player will skip 30 seconds over it, and they'll never know. It'll be automatic.
Yeah, it didn't work in English. I probably translated it wrong though.
Are you guys looking at live chat right now?
No.
There are 2 questions from Pixel Breaker, and I don't exactly understand what he's asking. One, can't wait till Treble's more ported. I'm not entirely sure.
Treble. So yeah, we don't know what Treble will, if Treble will help us, or if it will make things more complicated.
Right, and we've answered that a few times before.
Yeah, no way of knowing. It's only for the new devices that are coming out in the future, and let's not worry about that yet.
Okay. All right. So I don't see too many more questions in live chat that we can really answer. The default apps in Ubuntu Touch. We have a messaging app, a phone app. We have a bunch of apps.
The easiest thing is go to github.com/UBports, then go to our repositories and then type into the filter app. And actually it will list briefly what kind of apps we have as core apps. That's the idea.
So that's how you can see the default apps.
Yeah, if we are now citing or quoting them, then maybe we forget one. But
those are the apps right there.
Yeah.
These.
All of them on one screen. Cool. But yeah, the list is on GitHub. There's also our tracker, and if somebody thinks something is missing, go to the tracker of the core app, and you can post your issue there or your question even. We are even answering questions on GitHub if necessary.
Pixel Breaker asks, "What did I miss?" You missed a lot.
You can rewatch the video on YouTube.
And you definitely should. Over and over and over again.
Just loop it.
Just
if you go into your URL bar and enter repeat after the YouTube and before the .com, you can loop it infinitely.
I didn't know that, and I don't think I wanted to. How can someone running Debian help with development? From Alejandro. I assume that means he knows how to develop on Debian, or he's a Debian developer.
If he means to develop on Ubuntu, or chroot or LXC, I mean.
I see.
That's a two great way. I personally, when I build for ARM, for example, I use chroot because you can chroot into an ARM. So really, it doesn't depend if I run Ubuntu or if I run Debian. Jan?
I'm thinking we're a little bit hijacked by Wayne in the live chat. Yeah? So shout out to Wayne. Thanks for your live commentary or live translation. He's also sending some meme pictures now. Actually, I wanted to tell also, no, it's really serious. Wayne is the guy behind our audio cast. If people don't know it, they should really give a listen to that. It's really funny, but also educative. Last time he explained the thing, they always explain some tech terms, like they did something for sailfish and for wayland and so. And Techlish, yeah. And so you really should give the audio cast some listen now and then, because it's also for not so tech savvy people. And hi Wayne. So the point was
Jan,
just that. Yes.
Unmute yourself, Jan. I want to hear that laughter.
Yeah, Jan couldn't hold it anymore, but
he couldn't. Nope. He lost. Okay. He lost the game.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I definitely didn't win. That's for sure. But let's get back to the topic. Yeah, you can use. You can't use Debian natively. I think, at least not for everything. But if you use a chroot or LXD container, LXC container, then you can build stuff and get on with your life.
Okay.
There's a second question from Peter, exactly connecting to the same. He's asking if you need Ubuntu to develop work with the phone or develop for the phone and the apps, or if there will be an alternative for Windows or something else. To be honest, at the moment, I think it's not really possible to develop with a Windows OS because you're.
Well, wait a minute. Actually, you can.
Okay.
You can use Bash on Windows to actually
Okay.
develop it. So that should work fine, even though it probably won't perform as well. It actually would work, but never mind.
No,
but what
you
about
can't
all the
do it.
tools?
It doesn't have chroot. It doesn't have LXC.
And
does
source
apt install.
compiler. Okay.
Does it?
I'll have to
trigger-
test next time I have
But
a computer with that.
chroot needs the kernel, and Bash
Yeah.
on Ubuntu and Windows doesn't have the kernel.
Well, maybe the cross-point compiling would work, but maybe you
Anyway,
can't run.
just use Linux.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will be beat.
Or use
I
a
will be
virtual
beaten
machine.
down.
That also works.
No, I think to give, let's say, the app development experience is already quite complicated enough. But the best idea, if you have only a Windows PC and you don't want to dedicate it or sacrifice it for a Linux PC, why not run a virtual machine? I also have one on my PC here, on the second PC. Just use a virtual machine with VMware or with some other container format, and there you can run a Ubuntu installation, and yeah, it will work. Yeah, I think this is for time to time casual development. It's okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the best thing is just to use a flash drive. Just install Ubuntu on a flash drive, and then if you set it up as preserved, you can actually use the flash drive as your hard drive. That's also an option. Then you have the speed of Linux, or you can just wipe Ubuntu at. Now, just wipe Windows and just install Ubuntu, and that's probably the easiest thing to do. But
By the way,
Yeah.
people are dying because you pronounce Ubuntu wrong.
well, yeah, but yeah, it's better to install Ubuntu.
I think it's better to install Ubuntu.
Well, I like Ubuntu. It gives some new meaning, right? You have this like Ubuntu, like I install Ubuntu on my USB 2.0 flash drive.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, I will stop. I will stop now. Ubuntu, no, Ubuntu. Is that right? Ubuntu.
No.
Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Yeah, I should join Wayne in there, and we should do some Ubuntu things out there.
I don't know what he's talking about at this point.
Okay, for
Yeah.
OT5, we will have a language course, and we will practice the right pronunciation of all the vocabulary. I will promise.
That's not a promise.
No, of course not. That's a nice idea.
Jan out there, and Yay here.
Okay.
Okay,
I'll
as you
save it
can
for
see
another
us live here once again, eroding our brains into the late night. And I think before there are no other questions about our mental state, we should come to a slow end, maybe.
We should save everyone from our pain.
Yes.
Oh. So, thank you everyone for coming out for the UBports Community Update, episode 12. It was a ride.
It was
And
right.
for Marius, it was a drive. For Marius, it was a drive. I'm having trouble speaking today. You can catch us live every 2 weeks. Announcements are on our events page, ubports.com/events, and in our forum. Marius, what do you need to say?
Slap that like button.
You can also find us on Twitter, Google+, Mastodon, Diaspora. We also have mailing lists and a Telegram supergroup. You can get all of those in the video description below.
We also have Patreon.
And we have a Patreon at patreon.com/UBports. We would love to have you as a patron. Because you're
Yes.
awesome.
You're awesome. You're right there. And you in the back there also, you're awesome.
I'll save you all from this. Thanks everyone for coming out. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.